Good morning, people of the internet. This is Chris from Bedford Heights Auto Service. Today, we're working on a 2001 Oldsmobile Aurora. Has the Cadillac North Star engine in it. The reason why the vehicle is in here today is the vehicle has a check engine light on for code P0440 Evap system fault. Meaning, the emission system on most vehicles are actually relatively simple. You have three primary components. You have the purge valve, which is located underneath the hood. Small little valve that will open and close to allow vacuum from the engine to pull vacuum on the gas tank to determine if there's actually an emissions leak. The vent valve, which is always near the gas tank, is what is open to release any sort of emissions vapor back into the atmosphere. And a pressure sensor mounted on top of the gas tank that will read the actual intake pressure. In-tank pressure. Wow. Today is a bad day for me, folks. Sorry about that. That is what reports back to the engine computer to tell it, hey, there's an emissions leak here, or hey, there's something malfunctioning. Well, the emission system fault means that one of those three primary components is not functioning, so we need to figure out why. Well, this is going to be how we diagnose that, and obviously I'm going to be using tools that the average home mechanic isn't going to have, so bear in mind this is for instructional, so you understand when you bring the vehicle into us or any other person, this is what's going to have to do to figure out. So, the equipment that we're going to need, first off, I got my battery charger up here on the hood because the battery on this vehicle, isn't so good, so we got that up there maintaining the battery. This is our smoke machine. This is going to put pressurized smoke into the emission system once I tell it to see if there's a leak somewhere. We're going to be using a multimeter here. This is going to be testing for voltage, opens, ground, anything like that. Anything you need to do. So that's all underneath the hood there, and we've already got our scan tool in here. With the scan tool here, I know that's not going to be able to focus and you're going to be able to read it. We need to close the vent solenoid that's located in the back of the vehicle to do the test. So, in order to do that, what we're first going to do is, I'm going to grab the key out of the door there, put the key in the ignition, turn the wipers off there, turn the key to the on position. Okay, next step, take our scan tool here, and I've got my bidirectional controls, so I'm going to connect to the engine computer, ding, ding, ding. Alright, right now, yeah, you can't read that. I'm sorry about the focus. The current status for the Evap vent solenoid is venting, so we need to close that. So we're going to turn that on, and now it says not venting, so it should be closed. Now, we didn't hear anything click back there, so that might be an indication that something's wrong. So, now that that is supposed to be closed, we're going to come out here to our smoke machine and turn it on. Actually, it might help if I put an airline to it. Dummy me. Hey, guess what? You need air pressure to make the thing work. Okay, now I'm ready. Sorry about that, folks. So now, turn the machine on. And this smoke machine has a gauge right here that's going to measure the amount of leak in thousandths of an inch. So as of right now, obviously I just turn it on, so there's going to be a very large leak. And as the system feels, if there is no leak, this little ball is going to go down, and that's just a pressure gauge right there. So now we got the system on. Let's raise up the car. So, now that the vehicle is up in the air, let's go back here and see if we can find anything. There's smoke. You can see it coming out of there, and guess what? That's the vent solenoid, right there. Vent solenoid's not closing. That's going to cause an issue. Okay, well, let's find out if she's got some power or ground. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the plug, and you're not going to be able to see this, so I do apologize. All emissions plugs, by the way, are going to be red like this, so just so you know. So one side has to be power, one side has to be ground. So let's come over here and grab one tool. Forgot to introduce the Power Probe 4. I can provide power or ground with this tool. It makes it a lot easier to test circuits, because all I got to do is probe it with one hand. It's going to be a lot easier to try to do this with one hand. And it's got a little light on there. So let me try put the camera down. Oh my God, I'm horrible. All right, that's not gonna work. Okay, so now we're gonna probe the pins and see what we got. Okay, that high pitch tone means we got power. That low pitch tone means we have grounds. We have everything for that vent solenoid to work, but it's not working. So that's probably a good indication that vent solenoid is completely shot. But let's make one other final test to confirm or damn it. Let's get our multimeter here. We're going to turn it to resistance or continuity. Take our leads here, and once again, I'm trying to do this with one hand, so I do apologize how bad this is probably coming out. I'll tell you what, let me end the video here because I can't do this one hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two leads for my multimeter here. I'm going to put it in those pins on the actual vent solenoid. So when I have both these leads on one end of each of those pins, I should have a reading on my multimeter. Right now, OL, open loop, so obviously those aren't connected right now. So let me show you what it's going to look like when you attach the leads. You see how the number jumps up? Okay, so I should have a reading something like that. If I have a reading like that, an open loop, that means that motor inside there is completely burned up. So let me see if I can do that real quick. Well, I had to do it off camera, so I do apologize, but I did use our multimeter here, and I tested the vent solenoid in there, and it has an open loop. So that vent solenoid is burned out and no good. That will cause our light right there. So what needs to happen now is we need to replace the vent solenoid, and then we need to retest the system. Now, we might have an emissions leak somewhere else in the area that we're not aware of because we can't seal the system. So we're going to replace this vent solenoid first if the customer so chooses to, and then we'll repressurize the system, see if we have any more leaks. If not, then the customer vehicle will be fixed. Now, walk over here. I want to put one note to everyone who's watching this video. I figured this issue out relatively quickly, but this was a very, very easy one to figure out. I want to make sure everyone out there understands that a lot of times it's not this easy. A lot of times there's some other issue, but this was just a basic explanation of what we have to start doing to diagnose a Evap system fault. P0440, I believe it was. So right now, I'm going to call the customer. I'm going to make him aware of the situation, let him know what it's going to cost to replace the vent solenoid, and go from there. This has been Chris from Bedford Heights Auto Service. If you have any questions or you'd like to have us help you out with your vehicle, feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is 216-242-6066, and you're going to select option number 3 for auto repair. We are here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and we're closed on Sundays. This is Chris from Bedford Heights Auto Service, signing off.